Starsports.bet provide the complete betting experience. Find us online via our website and app, on course, and at our flagship betting shop in London's Mayfair. 18 years and older only. BeGambleAware.org.
Light the candle, Tiger!
Hi there, thanks for joining us. It's the Racing Post Golf Postcast. Bruce Millington, Steve Palmer and Star Sports' Glenn Day. We've got two great tournaments to look ahead to. Excited about those, but first we need to look back on the week that was, and it was a bit of anguish for poor old Steve and indeed Glenn. Last week, you may remember, they both put up just one tip for the Nedbank Challenge, Louis Oosthuizen, and what a roller coaster ride it was. Steve and I woke up on Thursday to the news that he was suffering with kidney stones. He'd been to hospital, so frantically messaging each other, should we lay off, should we lay off? He then got off his sick bed and shot 9 under to sweep to the lead, and it looked like it was home and hose, but it all went wrong, didn't it, Steve? That pretty much sums up your year, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah. It was very disappointing. I mean, after that amazing start, we thought we had it, didn't we? It was a remarkable effort. He was in the hospital at 3 a.m. the night before, and then teed off the next morning with kidney stones, but slowed it all nicely down. And sometimes, beware the injured golfer. It was beware the ill golfer there, because he played nice, slow, measured golf and shot a 63. And he looked the likely winner for a long way. Like last year, Louis Oosthuizen looked the likely winner for a long way, and we were on him last year. But he stumbled over the closing holes again. And of course, last year we had Lee Westwood on our side as well, so it didn't matter. We still got the winner. But this year, a little bit too ambitious, just having one. Obviously, we should have had Tommy Fleetwood on our team as well, and we got our comeuppance. I mean, the wheels came off on the 11th hole. I mean, he's trying to sort of chip a drive down the left side and didn't even carry the jungle in front of him. I don't think anyone else in the tournament had been in that section of the course that week. It was astonishing, and a double bogey resulted from that. And then he played the final 5 holes in 4 over par. So if you're an each-way punter getting 5 places, he slipped into 6th place with all the adrenaline had gone out of his system once the winning chance had gone. He didn't care about where he'd finished after that. But the each-way punter is just absolutely savage. I mean, did you back in 5 places?
Yeah, but I did. But I laid off after round 1. Once he got to evens, I thought it was a ridiculous price. So I bailed out very, very early, Steve. I take it you did as well. I know how much you like laying off.
No, I was there to the grim death, but I had a lovely each-way investment, 5 places, and going up the 18th, he's still a par comfortably in the places, but then he fires his first shot out of bounds on the 18th. Then he holds an absolute monster putt for bogey to stay in the places, and then Thomas Detry holds a long putt to knock him out of the places. It was it's just the ultimate. It's classic golf agony, but as you say, that's been this year, isn't it?
How did you commiserate?
Well, at that stage, Harris English was leading the Mayakoba Classic, so I thought, Harris English is going to win the Mayakoba Classic. So
we'll come to that in a sec, Steve. Glenn, you had a weekend down at Cheltenham, didn't you? Obviously, you had the rain off on the Friday, but did you enjoy yourself down at Prestbury Park?
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Plenty of booze. Obviously, Friday was a bit of a nightmare. And hearing Steve describe the golf, obviously, I didn't see any of that over the weekend. I'm glad I didn't.
Did you lay off, Glenn?
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't know about the kidney stone thing until after he shot the 9 under. Obviously, saw it on Twitter and whatever. So I thought, obviously, he's recovered, played well. I was counting my money. I thought that's how he's going to pay for the weekend, and happy day sort of thing. But all went a bit pear-shaped on Sunday.
Oh dear. And over in Mexico for the Mayakoba, Steve, as you say, your Harris English tip was looking good. We had a Monday finish, and unfortunately, Harris English, a bit like Bob Geldof, he clearly doesn't like Mondays, does he? Because he got himself out of the places, didn't he?
Well, no, he finished 5th.
Did he? Oh, sorry.
5th. Yeah. He got the place money, but he was in the lead at the halfway stage. A lot of golf to be played on the Sunday, as you say, because it was weather delayed. They played like a round and a half, and he ended Sunday just 1 shot behind with 4 holes to play in the tournament. So very exciting. He had a birdie putt lined up, ready to go when he came out the next morning. So there was every chance he was going to be tied for the lead with 3 holes to go. So a lot of excitement on Monday, live on Sky Sports, 12:30 p.m. Tuned in at 12:30 p.m. The first thing you see is Brendon Todd holding a 20-foot putt to go 2 shots clear. Then you have English lining up his putt, an ugly pull. So he stayed 2 shots behind. The following hole, all 3 of the leaders go into the greenside bunker on approach. the camera zooms in on the 3 balls in the bunker, 2 of them sitting up like coconuts, ready to go. 1 ball buried, plug lie, obviously Harris English's ball. A miserable Monday.
Are you all right though, Steve? You've bounced back, have you, mate?
Yeah, I've got bigger fish to fry at the moment. That Monday got progressively worse from there, and my mum is very, very ill at the moment. So yeah, I spent 16 hours later that day in hospital at my mum's bedside. So yeah, I'm a little bit, if I am a little bit dizzy at the moment, it's because of that. I didn't sleep on Monday night, so I'm catching up on sleep at the moment. But yeah, lot going on. So yeah, the golf pales into insignificance at the moment, but it was one of those classic golfing weeks where you got teased throughout, and then everything snatched from your grasp.
We'll give our love to Mrs. P. Hope she's on the mend, Steve. Blimey, we better talk about Brendon Todd though, Glenn, because he's gone back to back now, hasn't he? Won in Bermuda and then he's won this. So he's on his way to a Ryder Cup place if he's not careful, isn't he?
Yeah, quite an extraordinary bounce back to form, isn't it? As I said, we discussed it a few weeks ago when he won. Had been ranked as high as 43 in the world. Was a golfer going places and then completely lost everything. The golfing yips on his long game of all things, and to go back to back and at triple figure prices both times as well, it's quite astonishing. Sits ahead the FedEx Cup standings now, and he's out again this week looking for the hat trick. Not many people achieve that. So
what price was he? What price was he last week, Glenn?
Yeah, 100 to 1 again. Dead on 100 to 1 both weeks. Yeah.
So people obviously didn't believe the validity of the Bermuda win and put it down as a one-off, and he's shown them, hasn't he? So yeah, he's an interesting guy to price up, isn't he? Okay, well, we'll get to that event soon. Anyone else you want to talk about last week, Steve?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think that in the Nedbank, Marcus Kinhult, we have to give him a huge adulation for that, because he was 71st of 72 runners in the Nedbank last year. It's a really, really long course, and Kinhult's weakness is that he's never hit it that far. So it was easy to rule out last week, but he was such a plucky little lad, and he pushed Fleetwood all the way, and it didn't let that first prize. It was a $2.5 million first prize for Kinhult. That would have been an immense boost to his bank balance, and he didn't let it phase him. So and he averaged 307 yards off the tee, I noticed last week, Kinhult. So I think he's added a bit of length. So yeah, I was hugely impressed with Marcus Kinhult. And in the Mayakoba, Robbie Shelton was the eye catcher. I mean, he finished 6th, another good effort. His PGA Tour rookie, looks like he's securing his card already. I think Robbie Shelton is a world-class golfer.
I don't suppose, I guess your eye catchers from last week, Glenn, had 4 legs rather than 2, didn't they? Because you were feasting on the Cheltenham action. But when you went through the results, was there anything that you thought, I need to make a note of that?
The guy that I mentioned last week, Kel Samuja, probably one of the stronger events he's played in. Steady Eddie all week, although he did include an albatross in the second round. Tied 10th again, so he's showing good signs. He's playing consistently decent golf. As I pointed out, if he turns up in one of these little Mickey Mouse events at the start of the season, he's got to be a player. And obviously your old mate, Robert McIntyre, at the weekend, 73, 76 to start with, 7 and a 9 on 2 of the par 5s, absolutely tailed off, and then shot 65, 68, 11 under at the weekend. Bearing in mind the winning score was 12 under par. Quite astonishing. Just continues to play solid, consistent, good golf.
Any horses catch your eye at Cheltenham, Glenn?
No, it's a good quality racing. Didn't back a single winner. Didn't get too heavily involved. No, that's the way it goes, isn't it? But enjoyed the action. It was good. I like the winner of the handicap hurdle on the Sunday at Duke de Beauchesne. Wind up improving young horse. Defi de Searle looks like he could be a player in the Champion Chase this year. But
excellent. Okay, well, let's get. Yeah, quite. I know. Christ, I'll have you in on Friday. Right, let's get back to the golf then. And this week's tournaments, we've got the culmination of the European Tour. It's the DP World Tour Championship, Jumeirah Golf Estates in Dubai. What's the tournament rating, Glenn?
Yeah, get a very good 8 this week.
Okay, spin through Star Sports market leaders for us.
Yeah, we're at 50 odds on the first 6 on this one. 4 to 1 Rory McIlroy, 13 to 2 John Rahm, 14s Tommy Fleetwood, 16 Patrick Reed, 18 Justin Rose and Tyrrell Hatton, 20 Matt Fitzpatrick, 22 Louis Oosthuizen, and 25 Bernd Wiesberger and Henrik Stenson.
Cool, exciting. Steve, you've gone for 2 selections, haven't you? Who's your main man?
I have. Main man is Tom Lewis, who has always been destined for golfing greatness, had a fantastic amateur career, led the Open in 2011 as an amateur, won on the European Tour in just his 3rd start as a professional. So it all happened really quickly for Lewis. Then he had some lean years. You know, the grand old game of golf took its revenge on him. But the second half of last year, the Lewis that we all know and love came back. He won a Challenge Tour event by 5 shots. Then he won the Portugal Masters again. Then he made it all the way through the European Tour final series and finished 7th, crucially, in the DP World Tour Championship on his debut. He made his debut in this tournament and he topped the greens in regulation statistics. So that shows a huge affinity with this course. He clearly loves it. He's been playing desert golf since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. He played well in the Abu Dhabi Junior Championship many moons ago. Start of this year, he was 9th in the Abu Dhabi Championship. He was 3rd in the Saudi International. You know, he loves his desert golf. He relishes wide fairways. He's a real free-flowing, powerful player, and he's oozing confidence now. He has a PGA Tour card in his back pocket. He won the Corn Ferry Tour finals at the start of September. A stunning performance. Just went over there and beat up all these American players hoping to get onto the PGA Tour. 5-shot victory. So he's got playing rights on both sides of the pond now. And when he's come over and played in Europe with that PGA Tour card security, he's played well. And he was 13th last week in the Nedbank, which is a real eye-catching performance when you consider that he was 67th in that tournament last year. The Earth course suits him much better. And I thought Tom Lewis, when he opened at 80-1, my tongue was just twitching with saliva, you know.
Okay. That's a lovely image. Glenn, how many are you putting up this week?
Just the 2.
Okay, who's your number 1 selection?
My main selection is going to be John Rahm. Seems like he's been around forever. Did a bit of homework on him. He hit his first ball on tour in 2014, 5 years ago. Played 89 events worldwide, 8 wins, 32 top 5s, and 43 top 10s.
43 out of what? 43 out of 89?
89, yeah.
Wow, so half of his events he's in the top 10. Brilliant.
Which is quite astonishing, really. So a player with his power, not surprisingly, he's taken to the earth course like a duck to water. He won here on his debut in 2017 and last year finished tied 4th behind Danny Willett. In 2017, it was his short game that was the key to his success, ranking 10th in scrambling and 3rd in putts per green in regulation. And last year, the long game was more in tune, where he ranked 6th in driving accuracy and 3rd in greens in regulation. He's had a good few weeks off now. I don't see that as a downside. 2017, after he played in the Tour Championship stateside, it cut European Tour events, the HBC Champions in here. In nearly 2 months off, he returned to finish 2nd in the Tournament of Champions. Similarly, last year, after playing the Tour Championship, the HBC again, and here, he finished 8th in the season opening Tournament of Champions. He's restructured his schedule this year to get to play the required number of European Tour events, enabled him to defend his Spanish Open, which he done successfully, and he now comes here fresh for a charge at a first race to Dubai success. As a footnote, he's played 18 European Tour events, 5 wins in 11 top 10s, and is currently the only player to win 3 Rolex Series events. Seems like every time he tees it up, I wasn't going to say on European soil, but European Tour event, he seems to be ready to play. He's in the form of his life. He's finished no worse than 13th in 10 of his last 11 events. And I see absolutely no reason why he can't go close again this week.
Cool, you've made a very compelling case for Rahm there, I've got to say. Steve, give us your other selection. Somebody you've never tipped before.
Yeah, the selection is Thomas Pieters. Named my son after Thomas Pieters, another powerhouse with the tools to tame the earth course. He closed with a 67 for 12th place last year.
Hang on, whoa. You named your son after Thomas Pieters?
No, that was tongue-in-cheek. I mean, his name is Thomas Michael Tiger Palmer. So obviously the Tiger's after Tiger Woods, the Michael's after Michael Van Gogh, and the Thomas is the sort of, the fly in the ointment. Why is he called Thomas? And I've always been a huge Thomas Pieters fan, as you pointed out, but it's actually because we just like the name Thomas and the variety you can have with it. Tommy, Tom.
What else have you got?
Tombo, actually. Tombo.
Okay.
But Thomas Pieters, I've always thought he potential world number one. That performance in the Ryder Cup, you go to an away Ryder Cup in a bear pit atmosphere for your debut, your team gets absolutely thrashed. And who scores most points out of anyone in the competition? Thomas Pieters. I mean, he's got bottle. He's got huge amounts of bottle, and you're going to need bottle this week. $3 million is the first prize this week. The prize money in the European Tour has suddenly become jaw-droppingly good. And I think Thomas Pieters is hitting his ball well enough to contend. His putting is a little bit in and out, but he's not a bad putter. He's never been a bad putter. I think a half decent week on the greens, and Thomas be in there. And he closed with a 69 in the Neddy on Sunday. I thought that was an encouraging little tip for you. And he's finished in the top 5 of the Abu Dhabi Championship 3 times. Another proven desert rat. Okay,
a couple of 66-1 pokes from Steve. Glenn's first tip is one of the shorties, John Rahm. Who's your other selection?
My second selection is going to be Robert McIntyre.
Yeah, well done. See, I've convinced you.
I knew you'd like that one, Bruce. He's going to win, and I just don't want to miss out whether this is a little bit too big. But so he's got plenty of mentions on this podcast, and rightly so, I think. All courses seem to come alike to him, and obviously, like this week, he was seeing all of them for the first time. Highlights for the year have been second in the British Masters, second in the Maiden Denmark, 6th at the Open, and second in the European Open. After a couple of back-to-back missed cuts in August and September, his form reads 2nd, 28th, 26th, 4th, 17th in his first World Golf Championship event, 7th and 8th. Getting better, it seems, as the quality of opposition improves. Looked on at the weekend as if that run of form was going to come to an end, but as you said earlier, after starting 73, 76 in Sun City, fired in 11 under, 65, 68 at the weekend, which is by far the best, and saw him finish tied 8th. Regularly averages comfortably over 300 yards off the tee nowadays. Ranked inside the top 20 in driving accuracy in the last 4 events. Was 8th in greens in regulation last week. And has had less than 1.7 putts per green in regulation in his last 4 events. An area of the game where he's really improved. He's got a buck a trend this week and become the first Rolex Series winner without a previous tour win. He's certainly got the tools to do it, and he can add to his only victory to date anywhere, which is on the MENA Tour in 2017. Yes, cheer him on, Bruce.
We certainly will. Okay, well done. Nice stuff, Glenn. I'll get a line from both of you about Rory, because very short favourite. Too short for you, Steve?
Each way bet to nothing potentially. 4-1
those each way bets to nothing. You know what happens? They return nothing.
He's a 2-time course winner. His record in Dubai is amazing. But for a bet at 4-1, you want everything in your favour. You want it to be, and you haven't quite got that this week, because Harry Diamond, his regular caddy, who has had a lot of success with in recent months, he is just become a father, so he's absent. He's got an old rugby playing mate called Niall O'Connor who's coming in to have the bag for 1 week only. So you've got a rookie caddy. That was enough to put me off. And then also the weather forecast. They go out and race to Dubai order, so all the players prominent in the race to Dubai are out last, and the windiest weather of the week this week is coming on Thursday afternoon. So all the best players, all the race to Dubai leaders are out in the worst of the weather on Thursday. So you could get my two. Obviously, I love my two outsiders, Lewis and Pieters. They'll be out a lot earlier. Hopefully, won't have so much wind to contend with. But that was enough to put me off McIlroy. Anyway, at 4-1, you want everything in your favour, and you haven't got that.
Why have you not tipped McIlroy, Glenn?
Just the price a bit skinny. I saw that from Steve that his caddy not on the bag, so it's a slight negative, obviously. But everything's got to be in place. He's in great form. He has got great course form. But they did only finish 20th last year. But 4-1, just a little bit too skinny.
Okay, any other bets, Steve? Given what you know about or what the weathermen have told you about Thursday, I guess there's half a chance we can get some value in the first round leader, isn't there?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't put you off Tom Lewis or Thomas Pieters in first round leader. I think they'll both come out the blocks and potentially set the clubhouse mark. Okay.
Any other bets from you, Glenn, on this tournament that you like?
No, just happy with my two.
Okay, let's look at the RSM Classic in Georgia next.
On the move, Follow all the latest starsports.bet golf prices hole by hole on our website and betting app. Just search for Star Sports Bet on the App Store or Google Play. 18 years and older only. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Golf Postcast. Bruce Millington, Steve Palmer and Glenn Day from Star Sports. We've looked at Dubai now. Let's look ahead to the American tournament. It's the RSM Classic. Takes place at beautiful Sea Island, Georgia. And it's not going to have the highest rating, Glenn, I suppose, is it?
No, just an average 5 for this one, Bruce.
Okay, take it away.
Yeah, 50 odds for the first 6 places. 8-1 Webb Simpson, 14 Billy Horschel, 18 Matt Kuchar, 22 Charles Howe, 25 Harris English and Kevin Kisner, and 33s Aaron Wise, Adam Hadwin, Alex Noren, and Scotty Scheffler.
Steve, what sort of course is it? I should really know this, having been to Sea Island, but as you know, I won't bore you again with the story about how we didn't get to play it. Do you want me to bore you with it?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay, so I was on the most amazing corporate jolly I've ever been on, I must admit. It was absolutely astonishing. We were stayed at Sea Island, Georgia, which is just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we had we're over for the Super Bowl. And on the Saturday, the day before the event, the organisers said, right, what do you want to do today? You can either play golf at Sea Island, Georgia, or you can go clay pigeon shooting. So I'm like, well, let's go and play golf. And we got outvoted. Couldn't believe it. So I had to go clay pigeon shooting. Something I can do in New Addington or, 3 miles from where I live. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I literally can't believe that.
Honestly, it still hurts to this day, particularly every time they play there and you look at it, it just looks such a lovely course. Anyway,
I've done clay pigeon shooting. It's once you've done a couple, it's it's boring as anything, isn't it?
It's the sort of thing you can do in your local fairground, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. No, you must have been fuming. You probably still are fuming. But the seaside course, it's lovely. You would have really enjoyed it. So it's not particularly. It's quite short for a PGA Tour venue, so you wouldn't have had any problems getting around there. 7,005 yards, par 70. And then, of course, across the road, you've got the plantation course as well. You could have had a go on that one as well.
Yeah,
6,671 yards now that David Slover's done a bit of tinkering with it, par 72. So that's, both of these courses are very easy. So you have one round at each of them in this tournament. And then both rounds at the seaside course over the weekend. So accuracy and good scrambling are the keys to success.
How many tips have you got, Steve?
I've got 3.
And how many have you got, Glenn?
I've got 1.
1? Get you. Well, we better hold on to the 1. Steve, you go with the first of your 3.
Okay, well, my number 1 selection is Webb Simpson, and I don't like backing favourites, as you know, but Simpson's so solid these days, and when you put him on a course that where driving distance is pretty much irrelevant, like it is for the RSM Classic, then you've got a weakness-free runner because he's so accurate, and his scrambling skills now are almost second to none. He was second on the PGA Tour last season for scrambling, and David Slover, as I say, he's been tinkering with the plantation course, and he's put all these chocolate drop mounds around the greens to make scrambling more difficult. But I think Simpson will handle that challenge better than most. And I couldn't see any holes in Simpson this week. He's world number 12. We've got to give this man the respect he deserves now. He's a major champion, and his RSM Classic form figures are 12, 2, 7, 41, 36, withdrew 3, and the withdrawal came when he was 12th at the halfway stage, and then his dad was on his deathbed, unfortunately, so he had to rush off to his father's side. So he may well have gone on from 12th to win that tournament. He's always played well in the RSM without winning, and I think this time he's going to get his hands on that trophy. His form is too good to ignore. He's been runner-up 3 times since June, and he's been really unlucky with those runner-ups because he's run into world-class players at the top of their game. Rory McIlroy beat him in Canada when he was absolutely buzzing. Then Brooks Koepka beat him in St Jude. So he's poor old Simpson hasn't won since the Players' Championship, but it's not been entirely his fault. He's played once this season, and he was 7th in the Shriners. Webb Simpson, very solid wager.
What's a chocolate drop mound? Is that just a Ponzi name for a hillock?
It's a Ponzi name for a lump. He just dropped in these lumps. I mean, if you look at the course, 6,671 yards, par 72. Yeah, they should be making mincemeat of it, and they will make mincemeat of it. But there's a few little tricks here and there, plenty of water, and the odd chocolate drop, so to keep them them on their toes.
And the weather forecast isn't going to do anything to repel low scoring, is it?
No, sunny and calm as it often is in Seal on Georgia, and that's why they have so much fun playing that course. Everyone who plays there always says they have the time of their life.
Glenn, who's your one and only selection?
Webb Simpson.
I thought it might be. Wow, we're back. It's deja vu.
I'm holding up my page just to prove it. And I can't. Steve's summary was pretty comprehensive. Every time I thought I had a little note that he hadn't covered, he then went and read it. The only thing I add to all that is that he's only missed one cut since June in 2018. So, as you said, world number 12 now. He's well overdue a win, plenty of seconds last season, and he's definitely got the game to play well around it again, as he's proved in the past. And yeah, I thought actually 9-1 looked a fair price.
Is this a reaction to your lucky dip selections from last week, where you just went randomly for four people and no one's ever heard?
Even Alf Garnett done all right in the end. He stayed
did
on
actually,
3-11.
to be fair. No, he did. No, sometimes you've got to go for it, haven't you? Okay, so the lads both really, really fancy Webb Simpson. Glenn so much so that he's not even putting anyone else up. Steve, you've put another couple of chips down on this roulette table, haven't you? Who are they?
Yeah, I have. Because we've got just two outsiders in the DP World Tour Championship, I think we've got plenty of stake money to play with in this one. And load up on Simpson each way, but then also have two more. Russell Henley is the next best. He was really unlucky last week. He got an 8-shot penalty after his round. Did you see this one, Bruce? I know you don't
know.
You get very frustrated with the rules of golf, as do I.
Did he get grassed up by a TV viewer? No,
very, very nobly went to the tour official himself. And his crime was to use a slightly different type of Titleist Pro V1 than he normally does. He normally uses a model of Titleist Pro V1 that they made a couple of years ago. He actually had a new prototype that he'd been trying in his bag. He wasn't sure whether he'd used it or not during the round. He went to the tour official and said, I think I might have used this one for a couple of holes. And then the tour official said, how many holes did you use it for? Come on. And eventually, they gave him the maximum possible penalty that they could have done for the potential 4 holes that he might have used it for, because he always switches his balls after 4 holes. To cut a long story short, 8
shots.
He got an 8-shot penalty.
How much did that cost him?
Well, his 69, which put him into contention, became a 77, and he missed the cut. So
he might have done 100 grand.
He might have won the tournament.
In terms of the prize money differential.
Yeah, he missed the cut, so he didn't get anything. He missed the cut.
Oh, I see.
He missed the cut and got 0 rewards. He might have won the tournament, won $1 million. So he didn't. Yeah, he's such an honest guy to go up to the tour official and they do say this about golf, don't they? It's a gentleman's sport, and
I think he's a mug. It's not a gentleman. It's not a gentleman's sport. They cheat. They ask for rulings when they know they've got no chance.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
There's a Portaloo somewhere in their line of vision. They get to drop it on the green. It's bollocks. It's ridiculous. Surely golf ball's a golf ball, isn't it?
Well, you're right. There's lots of gentlemen in the sport. I mean, Louis Oosthuizen frustrated me on Sunday because he could have got a much better drop when he lost his ball at the 11th. Radar Riley was saying, there's a little bit of turf there that he can drop it on, but Oosthuizen went all the way back, the gentleman that he is, and made it impossible to get to the green in with his third shot. So. Russell Henley. You've got to take your hat off to him. He couldn't live with the fact that he spotted this ball and he went over to the tour official. So his conscience is completely clear.
No, generally, I like honesty, but it was a mug there.
Yeah, but the upshot is he's playing really well. Yeah, he's got a miscut next to his name on the form line there, and his comments afterwards, he was saying how well he was playing, and he's obviously really gutted that he missed the cut. But I think he's going to take out that frustration on the RSM Classic, because he's got a good record in this tournament. He's had 3 top 10s from his last 4 RSM Classic starts. And it wasn't that long ago that he was finishing second in the John Deere Classic in July with a final around 61. So Henley's game's been coming along. He's had a little putting tip from Brant Snedeker that he got at the Sanderson Farms, because Henley used to be one of the best putters in the world, and his putting form has dipped. But he says he had a good chat with Snedeker. They found something. He's starting to roll his rock a bit better again. The swing has improved. I think Russell Henley is my next best.
Okay, and your third tip, Steve?
And my final one is Brian Gay, who is fitter than ever at the age of 47. He's had a lot of back problems through the years, but he's over them now and he's playing really well. He was 7th in the Shriners last month. He was 3rd in the Bermuda Championship. He was 14th in the Mayakoba Classic last week. And these RSM Classic courses are absolutely perfect for him. He's a short hitter like Webb Simpson, but he's very accurate and he's absolutely superb on and around the greens. He was 4th in the RSM in 2013. He was 3rd in 2017. Don't rule out first place in 2019. He's a 4-time PGA Tour champion.
Okay. Glenn, why is Brendon Todd such a big prize for a man who's won his last 2 tournaments? You get 50 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, he was, say, half the price he was last week. In potentially a stronger field, Jason Day, Victor Hovland, and all those guys. So it's a bit of respect, but yeah, he arguably should be a bit shorter.
If you were having a second selection, Glenn, who would it be?
I looked at Brian Gay, I must admit. There's a few of those sort of guys. I mean, again, it's a course where you've just got to plot your way around, good course management skills. It could be, all those guys I threw darts at last week, you could have thrown a few of them into the mix this week, but ultimately I just stuck with the jolly. And I just had a little note. It's talking about Russell Henley's penalty strokes he got there. Did you see that woman a couple of months ago in the senior LPGA got 58 penalty strokes?
58 penalty strokes?
Yeah, apparently since the last time she played, the rule had changed where the caddy couldn't stand behind you when you were putting. She wasn't aware of it until halfway through the second round. So she was penalised for every time she putted with the caddy behind her. 58 penalty strokes.
I mean, to be fair, that one is a little bit slight. You should know that rule, I suppose, shouldn't you? But I'm amazed that I just thought a golf ball was a golf ball. I don't see why you have to say exactly what make it is. That's very strange.
Yeah, they're only allowed to use one model. It's a PGA Tour rule. You're only allowed to use one exact model for the whole round. It's got to be the same compression. It's got to be the same ball. But this was still a tightless ball. Like you wouldn't have even noticed the difference. But he spotted that it had a little dash there, and he was very honest about it.
What ball do you favour, Steve?
I use a Titleist Pro V1 traditionally, but now times are hard. I might have to switch to a Dunlop.
Yeah, a Penfold. What about you, Glenn? What's your preferred golf ball?
I use Callaway at the moment. I used to use Dunlop.
But now you're so wealthy you can afford Callaways.
In the world, yeah.
Excellent, good. I think golf balls are golf ball. I think they're all exactly the same. And I think if you took a load of unbranded golf balls and randomly put the brand on them, no one would notice the difference. That's my view. It's just like lager. Okay, let's solemnly and clearly reiterate the selections this week. The DP World Tour Championship in Dubai. Steve Palmer, you are going for?
I just would massively disagree with you there on the golf balls and lager. I think there are loads of different grades of that, but we'll have a chat about that.
Well, golf balls or lager or both?
Both. Okay. I think that if rubbish lager tastes abysmal, the best lagers taste majestic. And I can hit a Titleist Pro V1 300 yards. I can hit a Commander or a Dunlop like. If I hit that with my out the sweet spot, it would only go about 200. So, but anyway, this won't get the
as you say, the solemn reiteration of tips has digressed there, hasn't it? So let's go again. The solemn reiteration of tips. Steve Palmer, the DP World Tour Championship.
Tom Lewis, Thomas Peters,
Glenn Day. Who are you going for?
John Rahm and Robert McIntyre.
And in the RSM Classic, Steve Palmer.
Webb Simpson, Russell Henley, Brian Gay.
And Glenn Day?
Just the one, Webb Simpson.
Thank you, chaps. If you're only having one golf bet this week, what would it be, Glenn?
Definitely the each-way double, Rahm and Simpson.
Yeah, that does sound tempting. You made a very strong case for that. Steve, what about you?
It'd be the Tom Lewis and Webb Simpson each-way double. But if you want to be even more ambitious, you can have an each-way treble this week. Because the Dunlop Phoenix Open on the Japan Tour used to be the crown jewel on the Japan Tour until the Zozo Championship arrived. Hideki Matsuyama, a very strong favourite in that. So, you could have the Lewis Simpson Matsuyama each-way treble.
Actually, someone on Twitter did say, can you review the Phoenix? And I wasn't quite sure what he meant, because the Phoenix Open takes place in February, and I didn't know what else was going on. But it's lucky you've mentioned that. So Matsuyama, you think will do the business as favourite in the Dunlop Phoenix, Steve? Yeah.
Yes, it's a tournament he's won before. He's finished runner-up there twice, and his current form is superb. I mean, he pushed Tiger Woods all the way in the Zozo, and he's got very little to beat in this tournament. You got Gary Woodland's come over, Colin Morikawa, but if Matsuyama is switched on and has got any game face on this week, and he hasn't won a trophy of any kind for a long time, so I think he will be eager to win this. I think Matsuyama is a certainty.
Really, blimey! What about you, Glenn? Have you had a look at that one?
Yeah, I had a little look. I can throw one at you, a big price if you like. I looked at Matsuyama, obviously very short, but
what price is he?
He must go. What Matsuyama? 100 to 30. 70. He gets 7 to 2.
I couldn't back him at that. No chance. He never wins, does he?
Yeah. How about this guy then? Jake Knapp.
How do you spell that?
Ever heard of Knapp? Just one to throw into the mix. Obviously, overseas players have got a very good record. They're usually of better quality, but even the likes of Will Wilcox and George Cunningham have come over and performed well here. This guy is a 3-time winner on the Mackenzie Canadian Tour, so knows how to win, gets the job done, and you can back him at 250 to 1, 7 places with one of the firms out there. I definitely think he's worth a tenner each way. Wow,
that's your nap, is it, Glenn?
Yeah. You done me there, Bruce. You done me.
That was good, that, wasn't it? Right, okay. Are you two back in action next week?
Very much so, John.
Good. So am I. And we will be looking into the Alfred Dunhill Championship. Where's that? South Africa, Steve?
Yeah, and the Hong Kong Open, if it's going ahead, there's a few rumours that the Hong Kong Open may be abandoned due to the political tensions.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So, we may have 2 European Tour events next week, or we may just have one. There's no American event.
Okay, well, fingers crossed that goes ahead. Right, thank you very much indeed, chaps. Maddie is back on Friday for the racing. There's loads of great stuff to look ahead to on that. And then, like I say, the three of us back next week for another Racing Post Golf Postcast.
Get in the hole!
Long-term golf markets for 2020 available now on starsports.bet, including the Open, the Masters and the Ryder Cup from Wisconsin. 18 years and older only, begambleaware.org.